OnePlus just published some of the specs to their new OnePlus 8, and they're bringing attention to one area specifically that I want to touch on today, which is the screen polling rate, or the number of times per second the screen recognizes your touch input. One aspect to these displays that we have on smartphones now that are higher refresh is that they're also higher screen polling. So in addition to the screen actually refreshing faster, the screen's actually reading your movement faster. And someone like myself, I do not see the advantage of high refresh rate screens necessarily. I have used high refresh rate screens, and I keep on going back to the touch experience I have on the iPhone. And the newest iPhone 11 Max Pro is actually utilizing a 60 hertz display with 120 hertz screen polling rate. And that's part of what gives the display such like an effortless feel, is that it's tracking your movements more accurately and faster. The fact that OnePlus is publicizing and promoting that they're going to be using this in their upcoming displays makes me think that OnePlus has done some kind of internal testing or done some type of user feedback where they give people devices with a 60 hertz display and a higher screen polling rate, or other displays with varying polling rates, and they're seeing that for the average consumer, or for a lot of consumers, the higher refresh rate doesn't make much of a difference. And to be honest, there's been YouTube videos done about that. I had someone on my podcast a couple days ago, and that episode will be out soon, talking about that. And he is on the other side. He's actually a high refresh rate fan, and then we talk about this back and forth. But the fact that OnePlus is promoting this higher screen polling rate on their displays leads me to believe that we are going to see OnePlus pushing, let's say, a 90 hertz refresh rate, or maybe even 60 hertz, but a 120 hertz or a 90 hertz screen polling rate on their devices. And if OnePlus is pushing to make this solution for like user input faster and better, this is leading me to believe that we're going to see this from other manufacturers. As remember, OnePlus was the first company that made much of a push to popularize the 90 hertz display and how fluid and smooth it was on the OnePlus 7. OnePlus 7 Pro, OnePlus, whatever the OnePlus device with the 90 hertz refresh rate was, they pushed that technology. And I think that if they push the higher screen polling rate forward, we're going to see more and more companies adopting higher screen polling rates and giving users maybe a 90 hertz refresh rate display, because that would strike a better compromise between battery life and performance, because a lot of games and a lot of apps and a lot of like the utility that comes from using a higher refresh rate on an Android device isn't necessarily implemented yet, and there aren't that many games that utilize 120 hertz, whereas 90 hertz is a more of a compromise, let's say. What do you guys think about OnePlus pushing the envelope on this higher screen polling rate on their displays? Do you think that OnePlus doing this is going to move the industry more towards that? Have you used a new iPhone that has the combination of the lower refresh rate display but higher accuracy touch input? What did you think about it? I want to have this conversation in the comment section down below. Also, sneak peek for people that watch the end of the video, I have a pair of TronSmart Spunky Beats on order. Okay, this video has been too long.